Hello everyone, this is Mr. T. Today we are going to be discussing leadership, mentoring, and putting someone in the role of either a STEM instructor or a group leader of a classroom in the after-school setting. Now, one of the most difficult things that I find when doing any type of work, either in the community or at work, it's incredibly difficult to find people who not only work well with students in general, but also making sure that you're putting the right type of person into that position to work with a group of students. As a provider, I try to provide a little bit of insight and constructive criticism to sites that I'm at. If there's something that in particular that I see that has a concern, I do make sure that I report it to the site director. From a provider's point of view, some providers may feel a little bit uncomfortable doing this, but I think it can be extremely helpful. It really depends on the relationship that you build with the site director or the staff, but I try to not only have open communication with the sites that I work with, but I also try to make sure that I'm available if they need me to do something. And I have to admit, in between a lot of the other providers, my appearance is probably extremely different. As far as I know, I'm the only provider that usually either typically does a short or kind of a taller mohawk. I usually do this because the kids get a kick out of it. While it doesn't necessarily look business professional, and I have seen people in places of businesses still, having a more conservative mohawk. I like to call this a conservative mohawk. In general, I think the haircut in general is extremely frowned upon in the business or academic world, but I think that's the other part, is making sure that whatever your personal style is, whether it's your appearance or how you carry yourself around children, especially in a positive manner, is really what's most important in the class. So I think as far as finding someone that could be a good fit, the three things that I typically look for when looking for someone that can work well with children is obviously attendance is a big one, making sure that they're there on time. The second one is attitude. Attitude in my book is everything. As long as you have a positive attitude, even if the employee or the instructor is making mistakes, as long as they have a positive attitude, they're more likely to not only admit to those mistakes or be more open to receiving criticism or wanting to improve, especially if they have lots of energy when they're with the kids. And the third thing that I look for is consistency. I think accuracy and consistency kind of go hand in hand when it comes to not just working with kids, but also in any job or any career. Being consistent, consistently making sure that you're accurate or consistently coming to work goes along with attendance. So being consistent in your job, I think, is very important for a after-school provider, and making sure that you have at least some attention to detail. That way that you're fulfilling not only the expectations of the site director, but also the expectations of the kids. I think if you're at least consistent with bringing your positive attitude to the classroom, the students notice that. They may not tell you, or you may not be able to notice that they know, but I think in general, students know if you come prepared or come excited to teach them, or you're excited to interact with them, they do notice that. And I think it's more easily seen when working with elementary school students compared to when you're working with high school students. However, it is still there. I think as the social atmosphere of school begins to kind of mold, I guess, students to where I think in a lot of cases when I see elementary school students, a lot of them are extroverts. However, there are some shy or introverted students in elementary school. As this begins to go on, students grow and they change, and I think as far as the social atmosphere At school, some students may be a little bit more shy to not only express their opinions, but also to express themselves in front of a social group. So it's the same thing as public speaking. I think some people do extremely well with communicating amongst their friends. However, as soon as they get in front of a large group of people they don't know, they get nervous or they don't want to express themselves or show interest in something. So it can be a little bit difficult initially for teaching kids, especially if you can't get a good read on them. But I believe consistency is definitely key for providing a good program for students. So hopefully these three things, attendance, attitude, and consistency, provide you with the framework for developing your program. This is Mr. T, and I'll see you guys in the next video.